Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today, Sophia and I are diving into a topic that honestly hits close to home for so many immigrant parents, or even first-generation parents. Getting you to do when your child starts rejecting their own culture, when they're embarrassed by the accent, the food, the music, or just the whole vibe of who they are.
Oh, Elena, you've hit the nail right on the head. It's a silent struggle for so many of us, isn't it? You spend your whole life trying to instill pride in your heritage, sharing stories, cooking the food, playing the music, and then one day, your kid looks at you and says, "Can we just have pizza tonight?" Or, "Mom, please don't speak so loud, everyone's looking."
Exactly. Or the classic, "Why do you sound like that?" As if your accent, which is part of your identity, is suddenly a source of shame. For me, coming from a Jamaican background, it's particularly poignant. You want them to know the richness, the resilience, the joy of our culture, but they just see it as different and something to hide.
It's really heartbreaking, honestly. You feel like you're watching a piece of them, and a piece of you just slip away, like you're failing to pass on something vital. I remember my nephew, he went through a phase where he absolutely refused to eat anything my sister cooked if it was traditional Jamaican. He wanted chicken nuggets, and that was it. My sister was devastated.
Oh, the food. That's a huge one. Ackee and saltfish, curried goat, oxtail, these aren't just meals, they're experiences, memories, they're comfort, and when your child turns their nose up at it, it feels like they're turning their nose up at your love, your history. It's not just food, it's identity on a plate.
It really is. And the pain, Elena, of watching your child actively reject who they are to fit in. You know they're just trying to navigate a world that sometimes isn't kind to different, but it still stings. You think, didn't I teach you better? Didn't I teach you to be proud?
Absolutely. And the irony is, sometimes as parents, we might even unintentionally contribute to it. Maybe we overemphasize fitting in ourselves, or we don't always create enough opportunities for them to see their culture celebrated positively in their everyday environment outside the home.
That's a really good point. It's a fine line, isn't it? You want them to be adaptable, to succeed in whatever environment they're in, but not at the cost of erasing their roots. So what do we actually do? How do we approach this without making them feel more alienated or ashamed?
I think the first step, and probably the hardest, is to actually listen to them without judgment. Often, their rejection isn't personal, it's a survival mechanism. Kids, especially in their preteen and teen years, have an innate drive to belong. If they perceive their culture as something that makes them stand out negatively, they'll try to shed it.
Survival mechanism, I like that. It helps reframe it from "they're rejecting me" to "they're trying to survive." So instead of getting defensive, we need to ask questions. Why do you feel that way about the food? Or what makes you uncomfortable when I speak patois?
Exactly, and be prepared for answers that might be simple but profound. It could be a classmate made a joke about their lunch, or they heard someone mimic your accent on TV and it made them self-conscious. Validate their feelings. Say, "I understand that must have been difficult," or "it's okay to feel that way." Don't dismiss their experience, even if you don't agree with the conclusion they've drawn.
Validation is key. I think sometimes we rush to correct them, to say, "No, don't be ashamed, it's beautiful." Which it is, but they're not in a place to receive that yet if they're feeling vulnerable. It's like, let them vent first, right? Create a safe space for them to express that discomfort without fear of upsetting you.
100%. Once they feel heard, then you can gently start to introduce positive reinforcement. And this isn't about forcing it, it's about exposure. Subtle, consistent, positive exposure. Like, instead of saying, "You have to eat this oxtail," maybe it's, "Hey, let's watch this documentary about the history of reggae music tonight, it's really cool." Or, "Have you ever heard the story of Nanny of the Maroons?"
Yes. Make it exciting, make it something they discover, rather than something they're lectured on. Maybe it's finding age-appropriate books that feature characters who look like them and share similar cultural backgrounds. Like, Kainijo, a children's author, focuses on stories about diverse characters and cultures. That kind of representation can be huge.
Absolutely. Representation matters so much. When they see people like them thriving and celebrated, it makes a massive difference, not just in books, but in media, in their community. Are they seeing other Jamaican professionals, artists, athletes being celebrated? Show them that. Take them to cultural festivals even if they initially groan.
Even if they roll their eyes, right? They're still absorbing it. They're still seeing the vibrant colors, hearing the music, smelling the food, and sometimes it's about finding that in for them. For some kids, it might be the music. For others, it could be sports icons who are proud of their roots. Like Usain Bolt, for example. He's unapologetically Jamaican.
Oh, absolutely. Bolt is a fantastic example, someone who exemplifies Jamaican pride on a global stage. Find those figures, those stories that resonate with them. It's about finding bridges, not building walls. And sometimes, we have to look at our own relationship with our culture. Are we embodying that pride?
That's profound, Elena. You can't expect your child to embrace something you're not fully embracing yourself. If you're constantly trying to tone down your accent or not cook certain foods when guests are over, what message are you sending? Our kids are sponges. They pick up on everything, often unconsciously.
Precisely. Lead by example. Be authentic. Celebrate it in your home. Have dance parties to reggae. Speak patois with your relatives, even if your child just listens in. Let them see you enjoying your heritage. Make it fun, not a chore or a lesson. It should feel like a natural part of your family's joy.
And involve them in the celebration. If you're cooking, ask them to help, even if it's just stirring something or shelling peas. Make it a shared experience. If there's a family gathering, encourage them to talk to their grandparents or older relatives about their stories. Those intergenerational connections are so powerful.
Oh, the stories. Our elders carry so much history and wisdom. Those are the roots. When my grandmother talks about growing up in Jamaica, the challenges, the triumphs, the community spirit, my kids might not listen intently every time, but those snippets sink in. They're building a mental picture of where they come from, beyond just the different parts.
And you know what? Sometimes it takes time. It might not happen overnight. This isn't a quick fix, it's a journey. And some kids might really double down on that rejection during peak adolescence. But often, they come back around. As they mature, as they gain more confidence in who they are, they start to appreciate their unique background.
That's such an important reassurance, Sophia. We have to be patient. It's about planting seeds. Some will sprout quickly, others need more time and nurturing. And when they do come back, it's often with a deeper understanding and a fiercer pride, because they chose it for themselves, not because it was forced upon them.
Exactly. They need to own it. And a big part of that ownership comes from understanding that being part of a diaspora means you're creating a new kind of identity. You can be fully Jamaican and fully whatever else you are. It's not an either-or situation. It's an and situation. It's a beautiful fusion.
That's a powerful thought, the and identity. It's about expanding, not diminishing, helping them see that their heritage isn't a burden but a superpower. It gives them a unique perspective, a rich backstory, a connection to a global community. It makes them more interesting, more resilient, more whole.
And it prepares them for a more diverse world. Knowing their roots gives them a solid foundation to navigate different cultures and perspectives with confidence. It teaches them empathy and understanding. They become cultural bridges themselves.
So true. So, to sum it up, listen without judgment, validate their feelings, expose them gently to positive cultural experiences, lead by example with your own pride, and be patient. It's a marathon, not a sprint, in helping our kids embrace the incredible gift of their heritage.
And remember, you're not alone in this. So many parents go through it. Reach out to other families, share experiences. There's strength in community, and sometimes seeing other kids proud of their heritage can be the push your child needs. Never give up on those roots. They are who we are.
Beautifully said, Sophia. Thank you for such an insightful conversation. And thank you all for tuning in. We hope this gave you some comfort, some strategies, and a renewed sense of purpose in nurturing those precious roots. We'll catch you next time.